We are going to start with the item P6, the CROS project first, since our controller, Betty Yee, is here, and then we will go back after that to the last case on this morning's docket, and then proceed back through the agenda. So, Ms. Richmond, please call the next item.
So our next item for the afternoon session is item P, other administrative matters. Item P6 is the administration deputy director's report. Item P61 is the contract over $1 million for the CROS project.
Good afternoon, members. I'm Edna Murphy, Deputy Director of the Administration Department. With me today is our Executive Director, Mr. Gao, as I present my first item. Before you today is a request for approval of contracts over $1 million.
Good afternoon, members. This is a contract for the Centralized Revenue Opportunity System, the CROS project. To offer a brief background, the project was approved in September 2011 with our request for proposal, or RFP, being released to the bidder community in July of 2013. The RFP was to obtain the services of a system integrator for the CROS project. The project's objectives are to replace our legacy system with a modern integrated system. Now, while our legacy system has served us well for 20 years, that is very old in technology years. Now, we have, even with our limited system, the limitations of our age system, I want to compliment BOE staff has done a very good job of maintaining and efficiently administering our tax programs during that period of time to serve our customers. So, presenting this contract today is certainly a significant milestone for the project and for the Board of Equalization. When implemented, CROS will improve many of our processes, resulting in increased efficiencies and enhanced capabilities. But, even more significantly, it's an important step forward for our taxpayers and our staff. The range and degree of improvements will further our customer services priorities and our commitment to staff. As an example, CROS will allow BOE to enhance and broaden its online services, which will allow taxpayers to more easily interact with the Board of Equalization. It's important to note that the CROS project is consistent with the BOE's strategic management plan, and specifically with under two goals. First goal, increasing voluntary compliance, and our second goal, to enhance our operational efficiencies.
That said, after a thorough and rigorous evaluation process completed by a team of BOE subject matter experts and overseen by the California Department of Technology, the project's procurement team has released the evaluation and selection report with the recommendation for the bidder with the highest score. Final selection was determined on the basis of the best value proposal after preferences and the responsiveness to the RFP requirements. Therefore, based on the response of best and final offer and successful Public Contract Code 6611 negotiations, the evaluation and selection team recommends that the contract for RFP 0860-094 be awarded to Fast Enterprises. This vendor achieved the highest total score of the bids received, scoring 796.35 points out of 1,000. The contract amount is $85.1 million, which is within the budget for the primary vendor stated in the CROS Special Project Report, SPR number 3, approved in May of 2016. The new system is estimated to increase benefits and revenue by $40 to $190 million annually. Members, we respectfully ask for your approval of the cost contract.
Okay. Members. Ms. Yee.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First of all, it's great to be here, and as many of you know, I don't get to come to a lot of meetings anymore, but I just want to say, first of all, we've reached a milestone with respect to the CROS project, and I think one of a few members on this board that was here at its inception. I just want to say that we're at a point of where I feel very, very confident about the decision we're going to make today with respect to having this project move forward. We've had extensive engagement with the control agencies along this time to get to this point. But more importantly, it's been a stakeholder-informed process. And I can't say enough about the BOE staff, both here at headquarters and in the field, that have informed the needs of that need to be responded to by the new system. But more importantly, I also need to thank and congratulate those who have been the architects and have maintained our current legacy system. This is going to be a transition from that system to the new system, and so I think the input by certainly those of our current legacy system into CROS has been very invaluable. But the goal of voluntary compliance and certainly increasing our operational efficiency and excellence has really been the hallmark of a lot of the planning for the project. And I think the fact that it's been so stakeholder-focused, both internal and external, and the fact that we have gained the confidence and approval of our control agencies just speaks to the fact that I believe that our action today is timely and very exciting in terms of moving into this next phase. So I'm very supportive and just want to say thank you to all the BOE staff and those who have put a lot of their information and their knowledge into this new CROS project. And when the time is appropriate, Madam Chair, I'm happy to make a motion for approval of the contract.
Mr. Renner.
Yeah, I think it was 6 years ago or so, just pretty close to that. I remember sitting in my office after being newly elected and hearing about this new program that we're going to have to figure out how to do. And so I guess in one sense I'm always amazed that things take as long as they do. Maybe the outcome will show that that was a good thing. But I also just know that as we move forward and from the very beginning, we saw the necessity of this process and the improving and the upgrading of our ability to use technology as not only an advantage and help to the state, but also very much to the taxpayers. And so I think that's what's important about this. And I know that while this is an important day, there are many challenging days ahead of us as we seek to integrate the systems together and to work together. So I know that this is a milestone day, and it's good to be here for this day. But we also know we have a lot of work ahead of us. And so I thank not only for the hard work that's been done, but I know the continued hard work now with a private partner who will be involved with this process too. So good day.
Ms. Harkey.
I'd just like to compliment all of the staff members and management that have worked on this. I want to particularly thank Brenda Fleming for her leadership and guiding us through the process, for helping to be sure that we were accepted by the control agency, that we had everything we needed. And I feel very pleased at the way the contracts have been negotiated. We have not been part to it at all, but I think that it's, you know, my big concerns were always cost overruns, and I think that this is going to be kind of the perfect marriage for us. And I really, the system we have now is antiquated. It's not aged, and it really doesn't serve well. I mean, you have to have been with the BOE for 20 years to probably really understand all of the ins and outs of it. And I think for new people coming in, it's very, very difficult to administer. So I'm very, very pleased, and I want to thank you all for your hard work, Mr. Gow, Ms. Murphy. Thank you very much.
So I have a couple questions. Best value proposal, what does that mean?
So, and I may ask Ms. Brenda to come up and handle all of the technical questions for the evaluation process of it.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members. In terms of the best value, the evaluation process, and again, it's done by these wonderful people sitting behind me who have extraordinary subject matter expertise. The requirements allow us to have criteria that says, here's our requirements that were articulated in the request for proposal. And categorically, what we look for are those, how well the vendor meets the management, functional, and technical requirements. And in those three categories, there's substantial detail beneath them. Based upon that, there are scores that are determined based upon just a range of things. How well they were able to articulate what the specific technical solution is going to be. There will be components like the performance of it, to what degree, how close does the solution that they're proposing actually meet our requirements. And so you're looking for how well they're going to perform, and their functionality is going to perform against those requirements. As we go through that process, there are some things that are scored that are mandatory, which are basic things that we absolutely have to have, and then there are some other things that I'll say just are optional, so to speak, or desirable. And so depending on each one of those individual requirements, a score is determined based upon how well the response is in their proposal meets that requirement. And so the ideal is to make sure that they're as tightly coupled as possible. There are also some things like there are some preferences that are there. So when you look at how well their functionality meets our requirements, we also then want to take a look at what's the dollar value that's associated with it. So does it meet your requirements? Is it a good price? And then that's going to be the best proposal and value. So oftentimes you'll get something where you'll have a great solution, but if the price is too high, that creates a problem. Sometimes, and I'm sure you've heard of this before, when you get a low price, and you think it's the best price, but not necessarily the best value in terms of it delivering the capability and functionality we're looking for. And in this case, we were looking for a balance in that portfolio that allowed us to get a good price that's reasonable to the state of California within our budget, but also is going to give us the functionality and the benefits that we're looking for.
So what happens, Ms. Harkey talked about cost overruns. What happens if we run outside of the budget? How are we going to be notified, or what is the process moving forward in terms of the process in this contract for the next, and also I'd like to talk about the timeline too. How long is it going to take?
Sure. The timeline is from implementation, so the contract, should it be approved today and signed today, is the kickoff for the contract period. The implementation phase goes through September of 2021. So we've got quite a ways. And there will be options for warranty period, and then some options also for some what we could refer to as maintenance and operations periods beyond that. So theoretically, we could be, if we were to use all of those options, we would be going through 2025. That's the time frame. As it relates to the cost overruns, the contract is arranged in such a way that the bidder really owns the cost of the project. The cost of the hardware and the software and the staff. So they are actually owning that for the duration of because it's a benefits-based, performance-based, benefits-funded contract. So there isn't a cost. We don't pay them until they actually show us the benefits, deliver the functionality, show the benefits, show the revenue that is generated from that benefit, and then based upon that, there's a set of criteria through our compensation model that we would run through that algorithm, if you will. We go through that routine, and that determines if the vendor is then, for lack of a better way of saying it, has earned the benefit of having that payment submitted to them. So what's going to happen is that there will be multiple releases of functionality over those multiple years. As that functionality is set up, we will take a look at that and make sure that it meets all of our needs. There's a checklist of all the requirements and a report card, if you will, that articulates if it meets the needs or not. And based upon that, again, the compensation model has a full, pretty comprehensive routine that determines how to pay the vendor. Footnote, the state of California receives their portions first. So we will get paid back, reimbursed for our costs, and then there's a formula that determines to what degree the vendor gets paid for their services.
Okay, and then how is this going to be on each month's agenda, or how are we, as a board, trying to keep track of the progress and if there's any issues that we should be addressing?
Okay, and just one final note on the previous. It is a fixed price contract. I want to make sure that I don't overlook that. It's a fixed price, so there isn't there's opportunities to give some flexibility, but it is a fixed price. So the budget is the budget, and so it'll be our responsibility to make sure that we are not allowing those cost overruns or any opportunities for that. In terms of reporting to you monthly, absolutely, we are fully prepared to continue with the transparency that we've had to date. We would like to continue to share the information with you. To date, of course, we've been reporting to you on procurement, so the conversations have been relative to that. As we move into implementation, there absolutely will be significant increase in detail, both technical, business, policy issues, et cetera. So we are fully prepared to work with your office and with all the board members to determine, what our reporting responsibilities will be. I will note that we still would like to continue to report and keep everyone informed in terms of our external stakeholders, including the legislature.
Okay, and since we weren't involved in the process, how many applicants did we have?
There were, off the top of my head, in terms of the original, may I defer to one of our, where's Rob? How many we originally got? We got down to the last competitive process to 2.
To 2.
But I think in the initial process, we had 11 letters of intent in the original process.
And then
that
how-
goes back to July of 2013.
And then how many people sat on the decision-making committee?
On the evaluation team, off the top of my head, I apologize, I don't know, but I'd say easily, team, 20,
Yeah.
23 people. Thank
Okay.
you.
And everyone got to give their input and do their own evaluation scorecard?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And they've actually, at the end of the process, which was, and I'd like to applaud them, if I may, give a shout out to them, because they spent months locked into a room reading thousands of pages very thoroughly. And at the end of that process, they generate a report, and they actually sign off on that report that they're comfortable with what they've stood for. So they've been extraordinary, so kudos to everyone on that team.
Okay, any other folks?
Betty's ready to make a motion?
Yes, Madam Chair, I'll move that the staff recommendation for the contract be approved.
Second?
Okay, any opposition? No opposition? Okay, seeing none, then the board approves this contract, and we look forward to ongoing progress and success in this endeavor. Mr. Gao.
Thank you very much. Just a real quick couple seconds on some thank yous to some of the people that have assisted, especially those that have been on the project for some period of time. First of all, I'd like to thank Marnell Voss and Rob Trojan from the Department of Technology on the procurement side. They really assisted us along the way. Chris Gahui, Trista Gonzalez, Valerie Val Williams, Cleveland Turner, Jonah Bang, Jose Gonzalez, Kim Brain, Karen Stone, Bob Bell, Dave Rosenthal, Ana Fuentes Martin, Rose Escobar, Sean Finnegan, Alice O, Susan Bill, Steve Mercer, and again, as you complimented already, Ms. Brenda Fleming. And all the people in the room are obviously a whole host of others that have been there for many years on this project and are very excited by their appearance here today to move on to the next phase of this project. So thank you for your vote.
Congratulations.
Thank you.